As always, this webinar is being recorded, so you'll get a link to that, the slides in the follow-up email, so you can watch it again or share it with your friends. And now I will turn things over to Philip.
All right, Nikki, thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. Really super glad to have you here today. Appreciate you taking time out of what I am sure is a busy day to sit here and listen to little old me go through some of these new features and functions and so forth inside of the Intacct application. So, as Nikki alluded to, this is a session that's going to cover the release 3 for 2025. I too can hardly believe that it's the middle of August, but here we are, right? And I think next week will be maybe Halloween, the week after that, Thanksgiving, and a couple days later, Christmas. And so just, Happy New Year, everybody, as we get close to all of that. But so we are gonna focus today on this latest release that came out this past weekend. You may have seen some things in the system already, and we hope to be able to detail these items for you so that you can better understand them. And as I go through any of these things, I am going to do my best to point out where things need to be enabled in security, where things might need to be purchased if they need to be purchased, etc. And certainly, if you have any questions about anything I'm talking about, you can send in an email to erpsupport@ddaftech.com or your favorite consultant, whoever that may be. And I also would be happy to take questions from all this stuff as well too. So. All right, so let's jump in. Again, 2025 release 3 is here, and we are going to start out with one of my favorite new modules. And I do mean that sincerely. And I call it new. Let's call it remodeled or revamped type of thing. This is the $6 million man of fixed assets. We can build it for you guys. So fixed assets from Sage Intacct and fixed assets management. For those of you that might have seen some of our prior sessions that we've done, there are a couple of different fixed asset modules within Sage Intacct. If you don't know that, Mitzi Stockford within our team did a fantastic presentation on it. If you want to watch it, you need to see it. Let Nikki or myself know. We'd be happy to get it out there to you. And I believe you can always do a good old fashioned Google search and find that as well. But we're happy to get it to you. So, Sage Fixed Assets Management. You're now able to do the things that you see here on this screen. And I'm going to jump into each one of these individually here. So, wonder of wonders, users can now provide custom historical accumulated depreciation amounts when importing or creating historical assets. Gives you the ability to provide your own numbers in the system, which I think is a great thing to finally have in the process of getting an organization set up. So that's definitely a good thing. Your own custom historical numbers. You can now reverse post and depreciation entries in bulk. And what you're seeing here on this particular screen, if I get my little red laser pointer here, is in many of the screens that you have now in Intacct. Intacct is working towards having these checkboxes down the left-hand side so that you can do certain tasks in bulk. And this would be one of those things. So if you're in fixed assets, you want to delete some posted depreciation items, and you have those permissions, then you can now do that in bulk, which I think is a great little add-on. In the depreciation schedule views, you can now see cumulative depreciation in there, and they've got it kind of highlighted right here. So that's a great little thing to be added in. And then you can now update assets in bulk using I'm going to call it the new import service. inside the system. So users can update assets, such as place in service dates or place the assets in service. I'm sorry, dispose of the assets, transfer the assets. So this is giving you that detail to mass affect fixed assets inside the system. If you have an office that you're moving to a new location, for example, and you want to close down the old one, so to speak, inside of Intact and start a new one, you could transfer assets. If you're consolidating locations together, you can transfer assets or dispose of assets if that's appropriate. So, a lot of things that you can do now in mass inside fixed assets management in Sage Intacct. And I do see Nikki put in the chat here for those of you that are real time live, the link to the previous session that I was describing earlier. So fixed asset questions, you can get them with that link. So let's talk about something that applies to everybody, right? And those are the core updates. And with core updates, we're going to break it down into a couple of areas: user interface, company and admin, GL, AR, and AP, and some cool stuff coming. So I hope you guys have your popcorn and you are ready to take a look. So user interface, enhanced list, soon to be the default experience. So if you haven't looked at these enhanced lists yet, when you're in a Sage Intacct instance, please go ahead and do that. When you get to one of those screens to turn it on, you will simply click Turn on Enhanced List. If you have some sort of bad reaction to it or what have you, and you don't quite like it at this point, you can turn it back off. I am getting used to them, much like I got used to the new interface many years ago after having been on the old one for a while, kicking and screaming and slowly and resisting with all my might, but eventually going into the new look. So these are some very nice enhanced lists. And again, here in this little image, you can kind of see these check boxes. So again, they're working towards the ability to allow you to be able to do things in bulk in more places. It's not fully prevalent everywhere, but being able to do things in bulk in more places. So the user interface, the enhanced list, is going to be the default experience very soon. Advanced filtering makes filtering easier. Sorting is made easier. Bulk operations, personalized list views, exports with fewer clicks, and then split view information. So if you haven't tried these enhanced lists, please do try them. They can add a lot of character and cut down a lot of your time for searching and things like that within your system. They really can be a benefit. And then again, kind of an enhanced interface toggle up here with this is really just sort of a way to trim things down. You see how more concise this is here versus this. So if you see that choice for enhanced interface, you can definitely turn that on and it'll be a more streamlined version of the interface. One thing to think about, and I know some reminders on this before, but custom email domains. If you want to get that custom email domain set up in your system, authenticate and validate email domain in 3 easy steps listed right here. We're more than happy to help you with any of this type of thing that you need to set up in your environment. You can always give us a call or send us an email. But this is important or can be important to you because it can improve email delivery, right? You want to make sure that the things that you are sending to your customers, invoices, statements, whatever it may be, get to them. And one way to do that is to have it come from your email domain. So if you haven't taken a look at this yet, you might want to go ahead and take a look at it. And again, give us a call, talk to us about it. We'd be happy to help you get that custom email domain set up. All right, so the Intact import service. I tell you what, informal poll here real quick. In your teams, you should have a react button up at the top. Give me a thumbs up if you knew of or have used the Intact import service, the new import service. All right, so I'm seeing some, and I even saw a thumb there that looked like it had a different coloration to it. So some of you guys were doing some good stuff there. I saw a surprise face. I like that. Nothing wrong with being surprised. That's what we're here for. So the new import service is being built into the Intact application. There are really only a handful of areas right now. I mentioned the fixed assets earlier. There's things like chart of accounts and some different dimensions and things like that that you can use the new import service for. But it's really designed to make the import process easier for you. To get to it, if you're on the company setup checklist, which is underneath company and then import data, I don't know why they haven't changed this name here yet to import data, but it's company import data. And that takes you to the company setup checklist. And then right here, if you can see it on your screen, it says new import service. And I guess that's kind of why I call it the new import service as well, too, because that's what it says. But that takes you to this screen. This screen is the new way of doing imports. And this is going to be a more customizable, a more tailorable, it's going to be an import service that adjusts to you instead of you having to adjust to the templates all the time. For example, key benefits here, uploading multi-tab spreadsheets, skipping columns or rows during an import. You can see errors at the field and line level, and you can quickly find and replace specific values. So I don't know if you can see this particular screen, and quite honestly, it's a little bit difficult for me to see because mine's a little bit smaller as well too. But this screen is a screen that you would utilize to do a mapping. So this field in Intact and this field in my file. It's going to give you that ability then to say, hey guys, here's the incoming fields, the destination fields. I mapped this out. This is how my spreadsheet's going to be all the time. So this is how we're going to map and build our upload. So it's more interactive than what we previously had. If you have a need for the areas that it's in right now, which arguably and agreeably, yes, it's not terribly permeable throughout the system yet, but it is coming. So if you have a need for it, I would think probably fixed assets would be a great first place if you've got that fixed assets management module. Let's experiment with it and let's see, because I think it's going to be really nice as they roll it out. General ledger journal entries. You've got a box here now to include top level transactions. It is unchecked by default, but you can turn it on to see top level alongside of entity transactions. So this gives you that ability then to be at an entity, click a specific entity, be on the tab for that entity, and even then to see those top level transactions. In accounts receivable, let's talk customer refunds. Let's do the informal poll one more time. How many of you have ever had to process a customer refund? All right. I got some smiley faces, some laughs, and all that. I think probably most of us have processed a customer refund at one point or another. So now you're going to be able to record and track customer refunds directly in AR, supporting advancements, overpayments, adjustments, and negative invoices. Record the transfer payment method, or I'm sorry, I pronounce that wrong every time I see it. Record transfer payment method only, refund in full or partial, and it does have to be the same base currency. So this is going to give you a way to work through inside of Sage Intacct recording and more efficiently managing customer refunds. You do need to update your AR configuration. So if you look in the configuration of AR inside of Intacct, and again, as you're doing these things, if you have questions, if you just want to talk it out real quick before you do it, give us a shout with this. We'd be happy to just to run through it with you real fast, just to make sure that nothing is going to go wrong in your system, or this isn't going to break something else or do something like that. Give us a shout. We'd be more than happy to talk about it. Or if you have a sandbox, try it in that sandbox first. If you don't have a sandbox and something's really of interest to you, then it might benefit you to subscribe to a sandbox for the duration of your current period subscription. So, lots of ways you can kind of go through these things, test them, check them, make sure they're okay, talk to us about it first, whatever the option may be, to ensure that doing some of this isn't going to have a negative effect in your environment. But you would go through these things in your AR setup prior to being able to do customer refunds. Applying payments, there now is a slight change in the customer screen to allow for applying payments. Receive payments without leaving the customer list. So you will have that option in the customer list. Opens a payment pop-up with the customer's open invoices, works at top and entity level, less steps and more efficient for AR folks, and it is logged in the posted payments audit trail. So essentially, folks, what this is a shortcut on the customer screen that gives you the ability to receive a payment for that customer. Apply credits. You can apply credits to multiple invoices, distributes credits automatically with the waterfall method, apply them directly from advances or AR adjustments, and an option to override distribution before posting. So what they're showing you right here is at the point of receiving a payment, you've got your payment information built in. You'd click right here to apply credits, and it's going to pop up a credit details screen with the different credits that you have. And you'll be able to take care of that in this particular apply credits screen. Let's see, AR payment IDs. So this is an enhancement to customer advances. It is configurable here in the AR module. And basically what you're doing is you are given the ability to assign payment IDs for better tracking and reporting within advances. So just like you can set up payment numbers for for payments, you can set up customer numbers for customers, all of those types of things. You have an ability now to create something like that for advances to distinguish those advances from other types of payments and to be able to really control that numbering scheme. AR ledger report, you can run for multiple customers at once, filter by customer groups or custom ranges, include children, match for customer aging, matches customer aging for consistency here, and saves time and improves accuracy. So what we have is in the ledger report, there's a little call out button here to select customers, and that's going to give you a pop-up screen here. And you're going to be able to add multiple customers in here, either one at a time or through a range into the list. And then that way you're able to run this ledger report for multiple list disparate customers, ones who aren't necessarily connected. Maybe they're not part of a customer group or something like that. You just want to pick A, G, K, and R to see the ledger for those. And you can now do that in Intacct. AR billback. You can import multiple billback invoices in one CSV load. There's a bill back template column where you enter the bill back template ID. And so this is for something that's going to allow you to bring in, it is only supported at the top level right now. It's not supported at an individual entity level. So that is an important thing to know. But it is going to allow you to bring in those multiple numbers of bill back invoices in just one CSV upload. So it gives you that ability to shortcut some of the process, streamline some of the things you do if you are in a position for multiple bill back invoices. All right, let's switch gears and let's go to, we talked about money coming in. Let's talk about money going out. And that would be, of course, the AP module. And when we talk about bill approval delegations, so you've got an ability in here to delegate bill approval when an approver is out of the office. Maintain seamless workflow approvals for absences for individuals, helps cut down on delays, allows delegation to both individuals and user groups for more flexible coverage. But I think that's kind of neat because it is not just one individual person, for example, but could be a group that you've got created. Supports compliance and accountability with audit trails and delegation logs. So giving you the ability here to more tightly control the delegation process inside of Intacct if a user is out of office. So it would, in this case, of course, jump from the user here in question and go down into the other approvers that might be available. Keeps the bill workflows. You do have to enable bill approval to enable delegation, right? So if you don't have bill approval turned on, there's nothing to delegate. There's nobody to set up to approve bills or anything like that. Of course, the delegates need approval permission, so you would need to have and give them the correct security permissions and setup configurations inside the system to be able to do the approvals. And everything in here is, of course, tracked with your audit log, and you can report back all of that kind of activity, no matter who or what group it was delegated to. All right, so here's one I think that is fairly interesting. I would use the word exciting, but I'm going to use the word interesting in case. I guess it's kind of both. But vendor payments powered by Mineral Tree. If you've been around Intacct long enough, you know there's been a couple of different payment solutions, but it is really nice to see them pick, in this case, someone like a Mineral Tree. If you haven't heard of Mineral Tree has been around for a long time. It is one of the top AP automation vendors that is out there, and it's really nice to see this combination of Intacct and Mineral Tree come together to solve an issue for Intacct clients. So this is the capability inside of the AP module to, I want to say, set it and forget it type of payment process with Mineral Tree. You can pay vendors by ACH, virtual cards, or checks directly from Sage Intacct. All entities bill workflows and all payment approvals. Works with AP automation for a full end-to-end solution. So if you're using AP automation inside of Intacct, you can take advantage of vendor payments by Mineral Tree to be able to actually finish that, as it says, end-to-end automation solution to make that payment for you. Faster payments, easier reconciliations, and you can still maintain vendor preferences, send remittances, and earn cashback rebates on virtual card spend. And I think that one is cool there. Earn cashback rebates on your virtual card spend. So something to consider. There is a charge for the use of the vendor payments by Mineral Tree. It's a bit of a variable charge. We can get you that information if you have any questions about it. But I do think this is a very nice thing for Intacct to have into the system now. And I am encouraged by the fact that they have picked a solution now that has been a long-term player in the full AP automation market. I do think this is going to be a very stable choice for them this time. All right. Accounts payable, smarter emails. So new email domain at ai.sage.com enhances AP automation email processing. I'm not sure how AI dot does that in front of it, but we're going to go with it. There's AI in everything now. It's even in the emails. Supports auto forwarding rules, extracts inline attachments, and email body text for processing. So read that line, it extracts inline attachments and email body text for processing. It accepts iPhone hike, HEIC, sure I butchered that, images as attachments, and automatic migration in November of 2025. So November's release 2025, these things are going to get moved over to this ai.sage.com domain. If you want to update yours now, company, setup, company, and you can see the area for the email domain and how to get all of that configured. So the old domain was sagemail.com. It's now ai.sage.com. That could be something to keep in mind if you have something such as ap@deandorton.com that's doing a forward. You would need to change where that forward is going to. If you've given the email to your vendors, you would need to give a new email to your vendors for this, which is it's just some of, I think, the benefit of kind of having that ap@deandorton.com and then letting it do the forwarding. You don't have to go back to your vendors ever again if these types of things change. Existing customers can switch early by logging a support case. Just let us know if you want to go ahead and make that switch. ERP support at deandorton.com. Once you switch, though, you can't go back. And any accounts created after May of 2025 will start with at ai.sage.com. So some of the newer customers, you're already there. You don't have to worry about it. The older ones prior to May of 2025 would be something to consider. One of the things that we said on the accounts receivable side was that you could take a payment directly from the customer list. Well, not be outmatched. There's a new pay option, lets you pay a vendor directly from the vendor's list. Opens a pay bills window showing the vendor's open bills. It's available at both the top and the entity level. And it default advanced filters automatically apply to the list. So these filters that you've got created up here, or default filters, default advanced filters on your payments window will default and automatically apply to the list that you get when you click here. Okay. So again, streamlining some processes. You've got an ability to really manage cash in, cash out directly from some of the more rudimentary master object lists inside of the application, just to kind of put all things in one place. AP account alternatives. If you're going to do this, make sure that you have unused or deactivated unused alternative AP accounts to prevent any accidental postings. Deactivate accounts that are hidden from bill and AP adjustment pages. And you cannot deactivate if set as the AP GL account in AP configuration. So this is just talking about cleaning up any alternative AP posting accounts that you might have had in the system before, and just making sure that your system is clean. And if you're going to do pay bills from that pay button on the vendor screen, cleaning that up helps to ensure that you aren't having any kind of incorrect postings in your environment. And really, it's a good idea to kind of clean that up anyway. All right. So let's talk a little bit about reporting. And no surprise here in the reporting, one of the things that we're going to talk about is a new custom report wizard object called customer refund. So if you're in here in the custom report writer, there is a customer refund object. And this is basically just telling you that it exists. It's got the fields here that you can choose, much like any other object. You can continue down through here. You can pick your any additional promptings when it's run. You can change your labels. You can organize it, sort it, group it, all of those things. But it is a customer refund object. So if you want to create custom reports around those refunds, you have that capability now. There is also an AP payment approval history custom report wizard. So you'll be able to go through that, select the fields, and create a report here. So the gist of this again, there is a customer refund object inside of Custom Report Writer. There is an AP payment approval history object inside of the Custom Report Writer. All right, I like that little image there. That kudos to Nikki for picking out and putting together all of these slides for us. She picked out the images. She did really the layout, the look of it, all that kind of stuff. If you guys want to give her a little bit of applause, she works hard to get all these slides together, just so I can talk about them here. But I like that image that you picked there, Nikki. Looks good. Actually, you know, I'm an accountant by trade, right? So of course, money in a jar looks pretty good. So cash management, we've got some new Nacha payment file formats. Supported with Sage Cloud Services for bank files, new file formats. I am not going to sit here in front of you folks and anybody who might listen to this later and tell you that I know what all this stuff means, because I don't. I don't, I guess in the file markers, including ID numbers. So maybe I kind of do know what it means. But anyway, these are some new file formats that are available inside the system. I will go back and say maybe I don't know when they apply, but that's up to the bank to tell you, a financial institution to tell you that. So anyway, within an active subscription, users can enable bank file payments on the checking account, pay vendors or employees with this option. So it's giving you some additional file formats that you can use if your bank requires those formats. You've got some new options in here for, excuse me, for match and create rules. With these new options, you are able to come in and take a look. If we look here in this area, we've got some different fields for not only posting date, but transaction type and those types of things. So you've got some different options here for bank transactions when you are doing match or create rules. And that's just outlining these different field choice options here. So there could be some things in this list maybe that you weren't able to do before that you would want to come back and look. It's matching on things like document type and amount, description, payee ID, payee state, category. Again, kind of picking the pieces out of those files or transactions that come through so that you can either match or create transactions in the system. So new options here for that. Check printing, signature file types, added support for PNG file types. Brand new file type just released. Just kidding, of course. PNG's been around for a long time, so glad to see the PNG coming in here, uploading signatures to the checking account. This gives you the frame size, the resolution, the color depth, those types of things. If you have a need to change a signature, it is going to be forever in this documentation and this video. You're welcome to come back and fast forward up to 43 minutes or so inside of here and then see it. Or, of course, you'll get copies of all of these, and it is in the help documentation. But this is basically saying they're opening it up to PNG files for you. Purchasing. It's going to be a short one on purchasing. One slide here. Multi-transaction conversion. So combining multiple transactions into one single purchasing transaction. There is a checkbox in configure purchasing to enable this, but no additional permissions. And you are able to take multiple transactions and convert them at the same time. Okay. That would be a case, for example, of, sorry, I should explain this a little more. That would be a case of, for example, what you're looking at right here is vendor invoice in the purchasing module. And right here it says convert from an existing transaction right here. And if you click on that, that's going to open up this window and you'll be able to now combine multiple transactions into one single purchasing transaction. So that's the enhancement, combining multiples. I'm going to scoot through some of the inventory stuff here. I don't believe we have a lot of inventory clients that are on the call, so I'm just going to jump through some of this. Enhanced inventory reports. You've got a new option for inventory totals on the valuation report. It is a checkbox right here. Okay, show transaction totals. And this is on the inventory valuation report. So it's nice to be able to get those totals out there so that you can see it on the list. If you find those totals are off, it is important. You can use the running average cost report from the inventory utilities GL subledger reconciliation to further investigate that. So that's the inventory utilities tool. The GL subledger reconciliation will help you investigate that if you find that those totals are off. Inventory partial fulfillment. Support the ability to partially fulfill an order without having to go through sales orders to do partial picks. The current functionality kind of tells them there's not enough quantity reserve if they want to try to fulfill an order. The new feature splits the lines out via a quantity split function at the line level. And so it is going to let you do that now inside of the Intacct system. So that's a nice feature enhancement. What does it look like to do this? To kind of accommodate these various states of picking it split into two groups, identified with the same order number, but it does break it out so that you can have some of this be fulfillable and some of it not. With some of this, again, if you have questions about any of it and how it works, please do reach out to us. Happy to jump through it with you. We've got a team of folks that are quite versed in the inventory module, and we'd be happy to run through the process with you if you want to. Okay. Changes to inventory transfers. So one more thing to talk about here in inventory is changes to inventory transfers. Some of the key things are inventory transfer transaction definitions are no longer included with new inventory control subscriptions and will not be supported in 2026. So inventory transfer in, transfer out definitions will not be supported starting in 2026. Warehouse transfers do not support negative quantities. And then if you're currently using transfer in outs, you need to switch to sys warehouse transfer in out. And again here, if you're using these or if you have questions about it, shoot us an email, give us a call. We're happy to go through it with you. Feature enablement, it's enabled in inventory control configuration. There's also a optional third transaction definition for warehouse in transit. if you want to enable it. Admin will be prompted to enable certain things if they choose to do so. So that is, again, something we can kind of help you with if you've got questions on it. But some new features around inventory transfers, and more importantly, some things that are going to stop working in 2026. So you're going to want to get ahead of that and convert over to the new way of doing it inside of Intact. This is kind of what it looks like in the menu. Warehouse transfers in will appear in the receipt menu. Warehouse transfers out will appear in the shipping menu. So shipping menu here for out, receiving menu here for in. The warehouse transfer screen will be used to generate these transactions. So same screen when you get there, but two different ways to get to it. All right, revenue recognition. I'm going to kind of jump through these two. Again, if you have any questions about these, please feel free to let us know. Uh, scheduling your revenue recognition entries. So they're giving you an option now in the Intact application to have more control over posting levels of your transactions. So you've got an ability in here, as you can see, kind of in that drop down in the lower right hand side, to be able to choose the revenue schedule entry posting, how often it posts inside your system here. So that's a good thing to have. And then you've got some custom reports, new relationships for the revenue recognition schedule entry data source. So as you're building, if you're building a custom report with a revenue recognition schedule object, you will have three new components that you can bring into that report to get to additional fields. So if RevRec is big for you, you can now add these components into any custom reports that you are creating. There is an option going forward for revenue recognition based on budgeted cost per the project summary. So percent complete RevRec is calculated when recognition is based on a project's budgeted versus actual cost. So this is an ability to use budgeted costs to recognize your revenue on a project. These are some examples of how it's going to be, how that's going to work here with some different calculations and things. I'll let you guys take a look at that. If that's applicable for you, I'll let you take a look at the slides yourself on that one, if you don't mind. And then here, percent complete, budgeted cost, actual cost. Again, this is kind of running through and looking at it's based on the cost account group specified in the configure project screen. This one right here, configure projects in this screen. And then the budgeted cost is laid out on the individual project screen. So those are the numbers that it's going to use in order to do the calculation. And again, here with these slides, just kind of running through the steps, some examples, and I'll let you guys take a look at those. And if you have any questions, please, again, do reach out to us. But it is using here RevRec template called budgeted cost. There's the sales invoice for 230. Attach the RevRec template based on budgeted cost here to it, and then it's going to use those numbers to go through and create the information. A new component inside of here, if you go to order entry, manage revenue schedules, input revenue posts, click update percent complete schedules, and that's that button right here. And this is a bulk action run for updating percentage complete schedules initiated. Okay. A couple more screens here on this. They really like kind of go into this in a lot of details as far as how all this is done. But again, it is using budgeted cost in order to calculate your revenue recognition. A couple new steps in it, but it's a nice little RevRec methodology if that's what you all want to do or need to do within your projects. One caveat, this option is not available from the top level of a multi-entity shared company. So would be done at the entity level for that. Okay. All right. And I think that's kind of covering the next piece of the last slide here. And then we'll see if we've got any questions. This is actually an early adopter feature in the system. So this is something you would have to send us an email and say, I would like to be an early adopter. I would like to test this feature, this function inside the system. Please let me know what I need to do, etc. And this is an equity method of ownership consolidation. So you're looking at equity entries in multiple different entities, basically pooling that together and deciding then how the consolidations occur within that environment. So your consolidations are dependent upon the equity method within your organization. So if that's something you want to look at, please let us know. As a note, it is inside the advanced ownership consolidations module. So if you do not have that module, it would be a purchase to get that module in order to take advantage of this equity method of consolidation. But reach out to us. It might be something, if that's important for you, it might be something that's definitely worthwhile. All right. Q&A time. Nikki, anything come in?
Nothing in my Q&A box. I think you answered all the questions, but
Nothing.
nothing.
All right.
But if anybody wants to sneak one in at the last minute, that Q&A icon up at the top of your screen is the place to do it.
All right. So do me a favor though. Let me know. Give me another reaction. Thumbs up, smiley face, what have you. If today was good for you, I really appreciate you guys coming in. It's great to have such an attendance here. I do like it a lot. I appreciate everything that you all do when you come in. Um, One last thing, we are definitely excited to officially announce the new Dean Dorton client referral program. And Nikki's put a ton of work into this to get this set up and to get a wonderful web page out there for you. A page you can reach through the QR code if you want to scan it with a device, or if you want to simply type the URL in down there. It's a fairly good URL for us, only one slash, so you're not going deep in the website. But take a look at that page, and it's all about introducing your colleagues, your peers to Dean Dorton. So if you've had a good experience with us, which I certainly hope that you have, everybody from getting onboarded to working with Tabitha and her team to anything else that's involved in the process, Tony and the professional services team and all those folks. If you've had a good experience with us, why not share that with a close colleague or friend of yours? Go to that URL, send us a credible referral. We'll give you a $25 gift card after they meet with us. And if they do become a client of Dean Dorton, it's a $500 gift card. So I promise, last quick informal poll, how many of you would love $525 right now? Anybody? Anybody need $525? I like it. I like it. All right. Remember that URL. Get it out of these slides when you get the slides. And I'm sure we're going to send you links to it in the future as well. But that's our official client referral program.
Philip, before we jet away, we do have a question in the Q&A.
All right.
Can we use AP payment with Mineral Tree without the AP automation?
I believe the answer to that is going to be yes. I think it's more of a you can use it with AP automation. I'm going to scoot back and see sort of what the screen actually said, just to be sure. And of course, now let's see, that's a, go back a little bit further and here. Okay, so works with AP automation for full end-to-end automation. So I would think that means can work with AP automation, but we'll verify. And Nikki, part of what you'll send out will be an answer to that question to kind of follow up from this meeting and send the slides and all that. Is that cool?
That's cool.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure we get you the right answer. And there's a whole team full of people that are smarter than I am that can give that right answer. So we'll get that and then we'll get it out to you. All right. Nikki, I think I'm done. Thanks everyone again for coming today. Really appreciate it. And just remember, reach out to us anytime you want. Reach out to me, reach out to ERP support, whatever it may be. We're happy to talk with you about any questions that you do have.
All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.